For decades, the global market for medium tactical military transport aircraft has been dominated by a singular hegemony established by North American industry. The C-130 Hercules, a venerable workhorse, defined the category and set the operational standard for air forces ranging from the United States to minor powers in the developing world. However, the geopolitical and industrial landscape of the mid-2020s has witnessed a profound shift, driven not by traditional superpowers, but by the emergence of Brazil as a Tier 1 supplier of advanced defense technology. The ascent of the Embraer C-390 Millennium represents more than a commercial success for the aerospace conglomerate headquartered in São Paulo. It signifies the maturation of the Brazilian defense industrial base into a global strategic player capable of challenging established monopolies in the most demanding markets, including the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and the highly competitive Asia-Pacific region. The narrative of the C-390 is effectively a story of Brazil transitioning from a consumer of security to a provider of strategic solutions. This shift is most visible in the penetration of the European market, a region historically fenced off by rigorous interoperability standards and strong political pressure to purchase equipment from traditional Western allies. The selection of the C-390 by the Netherlands and Austria to replace their aging C-130H fleets marks a watershed moment. These decisions were not made lightly, but resulted from exhaustive technical evaluations where the Brazilian platform demonstrated superior availability rates and lower lifecycle costs compared to the C-130J Super Hercules. For the Dutch Ministry of Defense, the choice underscored a pragmatic preference for operational efficiency over legacy allegiance. By securing orders from the Netherlands, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Hungary, Embraer has effectively embedded Brazilian technology into the logistical backbone of European collective defense. This European expansion is further solidified by the industrial synergy observed in Portugal. As the launch customer and a strategic partner, Portugal did not merely purchase an aircraft. Through OGME, a Portuguese aeronautical company, the nation became an integral part of the global supply chain, manufacturing central fuselage sections and sponsons. This model of industrial participation serves as a blueprint for future exports, transforming potential buyers into stakeholders. It validates the Brazilian strategy of offering partnership rather than simple vendor-client relationships. The aircraft serves as a diplomatic bridge, fostering economic ties that bind the defense sectors of Brazil and Europe closer together, creating a level of interdependence that enhances the geopolitical standing of Brasilia. The strategic depth of this aviation diplomacy is perhaps best illustrated by the evolving relationship between Brazil and Sweden. The interplay between the acquisition of the Saab F-39 Gripen by the Brazilian Air Force and the potential selection of the C-390 by the Swedish Air Force represents a model of reciprocity rarely seen in the global arms trade. The signing of a letter of intent involving the purchase of additional Gripens in exchange for Sweden evaluating the C-390 as a replacement for its transport fleet elevates the relationship to a strategic partnership of equals. It demonstrates that Brazil is no longer a passive recipient of technology transfer, but an active participant in high-level defense exchanges. If finalized, a Swedish contract would place the C-390 in the inventory of a nation renowned for its exacting military standards and harsh operating environment, providing the ultimate seal of quality for the Brazilian aerospace industry. Beyond the Atlantic, the selection of the C-390 by South Korea for its Large Transport Aircraft 2 program signifies a major victory in a market dominated by American influence. The decision by Seoul to favor the Brazilian jet over the C-130J was driven by a combination of performance metrics and industrial offsets. Embraer committed to engaging local Korean companies in the production of parts and the establishment of a maintenance, repair, and overhaul hub. This move does not simply sell airframes. It integrates the South Korean defense industry into the Embraer ecosystem. For Brazil, establishing a foothold in East Asia, a region characterized by high-intensity security challenges and rapid military modernization, serves as a testament to the combat credibility of the Millennium platform. It proves that the aircraft is viewed not just as a cargo hauler for peacetime logistics, but as a survivable asset capable of operating in contested zones. The technical arguments favoring the C-390 are rooted in a fundamental design philosophy divergence: the shift from turboprop to turbofan propulsion in the tactical segment. The C-390 offers a maximum speed of 470 knots, significantly outpacing the roughly 348 knots of its turboprop competitors. This speed advantage translates into faster response times for emergency deployments, medical evacuations, and humanitarian assistance missions. With a payload capacity of 26 metric tons, the aircraft is capable of transporting medium armored vehicles such as the Guarani 6x6 or disassembled helicopters like the Black Hawk, missions that push the limits of legacy platforms. Furthermore, the inclusion of modern fly-by-wire technology and the Rockwell Collins ProLine Fusion avionics suite reduces pilot workload and enhances situational awareness. These technical specifications provide objective data points that allow procurement agencies in potential client nations to justify the decision to break with tradition. Underlying these technical and commercial successes is the subtle but potent instrument of soft power. In an increasingly polarized world, Brazil occupies a unique position as a major economy that maintains diplomatic channels with diverse geopolitical blocs. For nations seeking to diversify their defense suppliers and reduce reliance on a single superpower, the C-390 offers a compelling alternative. It represents a Western standard system, fully compatible with NATO data links and logistics, yet sourced from a nation without the complex interventionist foreign policy history of the United States or the major European powers. This neutrality makes the C-390 a politically safer acquisition for non-aligned nations or those wishing to assert a degree of strategic autonomy. The Brazilian offer typically comes with fewer restrictions on end-use monitoring and a greater willingness to share intellectual property, distinguishing it from the restrictive regimes often associated with the international traffic in arms regulations of the United States. The cumulative effect of these contracts and strategic alignments is the rebranding of Brazil as a producer of high-value strategic assets. The success of the C-390 Millennium challenges the historical division of labor in the global defense market, where the Global South provided raw materials or low-tech goods while the Global North provided advanced weaponry. Embraer has inverted this dynamic. The revenue generated from these exports supports thousands of high-skilled engineering jobs within Brazil, fostering an ecosystem of innovation that spills over into the civil aviation and technology sectors. The program ensures that the Brazilian Air Force operates a world-class platform while simultaneously subsidizing its development through foreign sales. As the C-390 fleet accumulates flight hours and demonstrates its reliability in diverse environments, from the Antarctic operations of the Brazilian Air Force to the desert heat of the Middle East and the humid climate of the Amazon, its market position strengthens. The aircraft has moved past the phase of needing to prove its existence and has entered the phase of proving its dominance. For the Brazilian observer, the trajectory of the Millennium Project offers a tangible validation of long-term state planning and industrial capability. It confirms that with the right investment in research and development, combined with a sophisticated diplomatic strategy, national industry can compete and win against the most entrenched global incumbents. The C-390 is not merely flying the flag. It is rewriting the rules of the military airlift market, positioning Brazil as a central architect of the future aerospace landscape.